The Parrot and the Magical Spring. Deep in the heart of the emerald forest, where sunlight danced through ancient oak leaves, lived Pluma, a magnificent parrot whose brilliant red, blue, and green feathers sparkled like jewels in the dappled light. Pluma spent his days searching for the most colorful fruits and the shiniest objects he could find, filling his hollow tree with treasures that caught his eye. One morning, while chasing a particularly iridescent beetle, he stumbled upon a hidden glen, where a crystal-clear spring bubbled up from smooth white stones, its waters shimmering with an otherworldly light. As Pluma perched on a branch to admire this beautiful discovery, Luna, the wise old owl who served as guardian of the forest's secrets, glided silently into the clearing. Her amber eyes gleamed with ancient knowledge as she spoke in her soft, measured voice. "Ah, Pluma, you have found the magical spring," Luna said, settling on a moss-covered rock. "This sacred water grants one pure wish to each creature, but only if their heart is true and their intentions noble." Pluma's eyes lit up with greedy excitement, his bright feathers ruffling with anticipation. "One wish," he squawked, his mind already racing with possibilities. "I could wish for mountains of golden coins, or perhaps a palace made of the most exotic fruits." Before Luna could warn him about the dangers of selfish desires, Pluma had begun scheming to keep this miraculous discovery all to himself. The very next day, as Pluma preened near the spring, he encountered Pip, a tiny sparrow whose ribs showed through her dull feathers. She had been searching desperately for food to feed her hungry chicks. "Oh, kind Pluma," Pip chirped weakly, "I heard there might be a magical spring somewhere in these woods. My babies are starving, and I was hoping—" "Listen well, little one," Pluma interrupted, using his gift of eloquent speech to sound convincing and authoritative. "That cursed water brings only misfortune. I've seen it with my own eyes. Birds who drink from it grow sick and lose their feathers. Stay far away if you value your life." Pip's tiny heart sank, but she trusted the beautiful parrot's words and flew away with heavy wings. Later that afternoon, Bramble, an elderly rabbit with a badly injured leg, limped into the clearing. He had heard whispers of healing waters that might mend his wound and allow him to run with his grandchildren again. "Please, Pluma," Bramble said, breathing heavily from the pain, "can you tell me where to find the spring of healing?" Again, Pluma used his silver tongue to weave lies. "Oh, poor Bramble, that spring is cursed beyond measure. The last rabbit who drank from it turned to stone. I'm only trying to protect you, dear friend." Bramble's ears drooped with disappointment, and he hobbled away, resigned to a life of pain. Alone with the spring, Pluma rubbed his wings together with glee. "Now for my wish," he declared. "I wish for endless exotic fruits and golden treasures to fill my home." But as the words left his beak, something terrible began to happen. The crystal-clear water started to turn murky and dark, as if his selfish desire had poisoned the very magic within. The spring's gentle bubbling became a weak trickle, and the otherworldly shimmer began to fade. Days passed, and Pluma watched in growing horror as the spring continued to weaken. Meanwhile, he discovered that Pip had collapsed from hunger just beyond the glen, too weak to search for food any longer. Bramble sat nearby, his injured leg now infected and swollen, unable to move. "What have I done?" Pluma whispered, his beautiful feathers seeming to lose their luster as shame washed over him. Luna appeared beside him, her wise eyes filled with sadness. "The spring responds to the purity of one's heart, Pluma. Your greed has corrupted its magic, and now it's dying. Soon, all the forest creatures who depend on its life-giving power will suffer." Pluma looked at Pip's still form and Bramble's pain-filled eyes, and finally understood the terrible price of his selfishness. With tears glistening on his colorful feathers, he made a decision that would change everything. "Luna," he said, his voice trembling with emotion, "I must tell you the truth. I lied to Pip and Bramble. I drove them away because I wanted the spring's magic for myself alone. Gently, Pluma gathered the weak sparrow in his wing and helped Bramble to the spring's edge. Then, with his heart now pure and selfless, he spoke his true wish. I wish for this spring to be healed and restored, and for all creatures to benefit from its magic. Let Pip have the strength to feed her chicks, and let Bramble's leg be made whole again. The moment these unselfish words were spoken, the spring burst back to life with even greater power than before. The water ran crystal clear, sparkling with rainbow colors that danced like tiny stars. Pip stirred and opened her eyes, her strength returning, while Bramble's leg healed completely before their amazed eyes. From that day forward, the magical spring became a gathering place for all the forest creatures. Its magic grew stronger with each act of kindness and sharing, creating abundance for everyone. Pluma discovered that his greatest treasure was not gold or exotic fruits, but the friendship and gratitude of those he had learned to help. Luna smiled as she watched the transformed parrot teaching young birds about the spring's wonders. "The greatest magic," she said softly, "was always the love we share with one another." Moral: greed destroys the very thing we seek to possess, while sharing creates abundance for all.